need company, I call on you to see about me. I wanna walk about and talk about, tell all the world about you.
Tell the world about you.
When you're with me, there's so much fun. You're all the good things are wrapped in one. I wanna walk about and talk about, tell all the world about you.
Tell the world about you.
Whoa, I wanna walk,
Talk about.
I wanna talk,
Talk about.
I wanna tell.
Wanna tell the world all
Whoa,
about you.
I wanna live,
Just for you.
I'm gonna give.
Love's the truth.
We'll have a love.
Have a love that's all.
Whoa, you're so fine and you're so sweet. You're brand of love and I can't be beat. I wanna walk,
Talk about.
I wanna talk,
Talk about.
I wanna tell.
Wanna tell the world all about
I'm gonna live,
you. Just for you.
I'm gonna give.
Love's the truth.
We'll have a love.
We'll have a love that's all.
Whoa, you're so fine and you're so sweet. You're brand of love and I can't be beat. I wanna walk about and talk about, tell all the world about, tell all the world about, oh, tell the world about you.
Tell the world about you.
Hello everyone, my name is Joseph Bleacher. I am the third son. How this all came about, my wife Catherine and I went to church with my mother on my father's birthday. And my mother turned to me and she looked at me and she said, you know what, I don't want anyone to forget him. And this is how this was born. But saying that, I would like to thank the hospital, Jane Tavlick, Pat Butto, Melissa Morris-Watson, and Dave, Dean's brother, for making this become a reality. So thank you very much. But most importantly, I'd like to thank, or we would like to thank all of you for taking time out of your busy schedule to be here with us celebrating. So thank you very much. Quickly, it's funny how things come about, and we were talking at the dinner table last night. And even here today, speaking to people, it's a privilege and an honor to be Dr. Bleacher's son or daughter. And it's the same reaction, oh, you're Dr. Bleacher's son. Oh, he was so great. And this one doctor said to me, Dr. Bleacher was the first one to teach me how to do a pediatric hernia. And he turned to me and he said, Joe, did you see that? And the doctor said, no, Dr. Bleacher, your hands were in the way. Because everyone knows him for his big hands. And the other thing, even today, same thing, people say, you know, your dad was so great. In the operating table, or in the operating room, he made us all feel at ease, and he was a privilege to work with. I mean, speaking of Joanne and Shirley, they confirmed this, and it's such a comforting thought when you think about it, that my father was able to put people at ease so they could operate such, to bring out the best in them to operate in such a pressured situation. And lastly, my mother was saying at the dinner table last night, she said, you know, he always said after every time, have a good weekend, even if it was Monday or Tuesday, you know, even if they met the next day. And it just shows you that the zest for life that he had in the operating table was shown in the zest of life he had outside. He couldn't wait to sail or fish. But as I said, it's a privilege, and I'm very proud to be part of this family, but I'm especially privileged and proud. My mother stood by my father for all those years, and it's very, very appropriate that this ceremony is happening a day before her birthday. So if you could all join with me in that and wish my mother a happy birthday, please.
Extend a thank you for all of you coming today. We're very humbled by you taking time out of your day to attend this event. We Bleachers recognized a long time ago that he had two families. He had his personal family and he had his professional family. He always felt very fortunate to work with so many wonderful people who cared about each other, to provide care to sick children, and he felt very privileged to work here in particular. And so, even though we're singling him out with this picture, this nice memento, I want to extend a thank you to everybody in his professional family for enriching his life. And just to give you some insight as to some of the decisions he made in his life to end up doing what he did. He was born and raised and educated in Philadelphia, and he took the trolley car to commute to and from school. I mean, he was a big city boy through and through. And in those days, after finishing medical school, you had to do a one-year rotating internship before you could go on to your residency and train in your specialty. And so one of his classmates and he thought, basically on a lark, well, let's do our rotating internship in Youngstown, Ohio. He had never been here. He probably didn't even know where it was. And he figured, it's only a year, so let's do it. And what a fortuitous decision that ended up to be. Within a few weeks of arriving, he met my mother, who was a nurse at the time, and before that 1 year was out, they were married. And then the two of them moved to Philadelphia, where he did his residency at Temple in Philadelphia. And while there, Joseph was born with a near-fatal liver condition that required that he have surgery at St. Christopher's Hospital for Children in Philadelphia. And he wasn't really even expected to make it. And my father was so moved and inspired by the care that he had received that he decided to change his plans from being a plastic surgeon to doing pediatric surgery. And after spending some time serving his country in the Air Force, he moved to Pittsburgh with his family to train in pediatric surgery. And my mother swears that she had nothing to do with the decision, but as he was finishing in Pittsburgh, he decided he was going to move back here and start practice. And one thing that you probably need to understand is that in the 1960s, pediatric surgery wasn't really even recognized as a true specialty. You couldn't be board certified in pediatric surgery. Very few surgeons dedicated their career to just working on babies and children. And those who did so in places like Boston or Philadelphia or Pittsburgh or Cleveland. So it was kind of a bold move for him to move to Youngstown, Ohio. And in a way, it was a risky move too, because again, in those days, it wasn't necessarily even considered a specialty. And so those who were trained in adult general surgery were really considered, or felt to be considered, competent to operate on adults and children. So he slowly, after he arrived, slowly started to gain the confidence of people here as far as the fact that he did have a special skill set. And then when Todd Children's Hospital opened in, Dr. Dodson, was that 1972? 71. So, people like Dr. Dodson, Dr. Van Glarchik, and getting all the pediatric specialists in one place under one roof to concentrate care for infants and children really solidified the nucleus of his professional family. And then the rest is history. So, he made a decision on a lark, met a woman, had a sick child, took a risk, and we're all here celebrating that. Thank you.